Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be doing a deck profile as well as a discussion video on the Ghostrick deck that actually topped over in England. Everyone is like, I don't understand how this deck works. Let me go ahead and break down how the deck actually works after we go ahead and go through the cards, and I'll basically explain how the deck runs. So first off, we have triple Ghostrick Jiangshi, we have 3 card D, we have 2 Ghostrick Lantern, we have 1 Ghostrick Spectre, 2 King Cabello, 3 Ghostrick Mary, 1 Allure of Darkness, 3 Pot of Duality, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Bottomless, 1 Needle Ceiling, 2 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential, 2 Deep Prison, 1 Breakthrough Skill, 1 Compulse, 2 Ghostrick Roll Shifts, 2 Fiendish Chains, 3 Seven Tools of the Bandit, 2 Horn of Heaven, Black Horn of Heavens. Horn of Heaven, not good card. Black Horn of Heaven, fantastic card. Next up, and lastly, we have Solemn Warning. As far as the extra deck goes, we have 3 Downward Magician, we have number 17, we have 2 Ghostrick Alucard, we have Leviator the Sea Dragon, a Mech Equip Engineer, 1 Zen Mains, 1, I'm going to call him the String de Jin, 3 Dolahan, 1 Slacker or Shiny Magician, and 1 number 54 Lion Heart. So basically how this deck actually wins, because everyone is like, how does this deck win? I don't understand. The deck essentially wins by abusing Dolahan and then just throwing up a Downward Magician on top of it, because you're able to half their attack. Usually, hopefully you can run over something. If you aren't able to run over their stuff, all you need to do is just, wait next turn, half their attack, and this card actually has a really good effect that you can just add the other card back. So that's why he's only playing, that's my guess is why he's only playing 1 Spectre, because I think that definitely does work pretty well, where you're just able to just add Spectre and then just be like, oh, it's cool, draw extra free card. So how does the deck actually runs, guys? It's not essentially a deck where it's making the Ghostricks really good for the effects of the Ghostricks. All it's really using Ghostricks for is their ability to just be there. Other than that, it's basically a rank 1 XYZ deck, because this card over here, Dolahan, which is basically the go-to card to go to, and it's actually really easy to get out. What's really awesome with this deck is because the Ghostricks can you can just throw one out. Usually either you get one of these guys out or one of these guys out with the effect of Jiangshi. You're usually able to have one monster on the field, and then if you have another level 1 in the graveyard, which is quite easy to do, all you need to do from there is being able to go King Cabello, special summon 1 other level 1, use the other level 1 that you already have on the field and the Ghostrick that you special summon with King Cabello, then go ahead and XYZ into Dolahan, and then during the end phase, King Cabello will return to your hand. That way you still have the option to go for your Dolahan later on, because the deck really comes down to is it's a Dolahan deck to hopefully run over something, and if you still have a Ghostrick monster, remember, he gains 200 attack for each Ghostrick card you control, which does actually include himself, so that's pretty awesome in that aspect. So he's able to really make it so your opponent has to throw up something that's very large on the field, or throw up a monster has a really good effect. And because this deck actually plays 19 back row, you're able to hopefully make it so your opponent can't have anything. And this deck is really revolved around letting you successfully get off your plays and then negating your opponent's plays. Because a lot of time in this deck, what you're trying to do is you're trying to set your monsters and then you're trying to set up your plays. Because first turn, you really don't have any plays to really throw out anything. So what you're trying to do essentially is either go for card D, set your 7 tools, maybe you can set your MSTs too. But you want your opponent to have nothing on board. That's essentially the goal of the deck, and then obviously you're able to get out your stuff because you have triple MST, you have triple 7 tools of the bandit, which is basically the sign that you want to get your stuff out. Basically, you don't want your stuff getting negated, because pretty much in this deck you only get 1 chance to summon per turn. I know you can summon during your opponent's turn to prevent yourself from getting OTK'd and all that other good stuff. So that's how essentially the deck plays. Basically, you're going to be going for this card a lot, and then you're going to try to protect this card as much as you possibly can. But if it dies, hey, it's not even that bad. You get to add another Ghostrick card from your graveyard to your hand. This card is absolutely fantastic as well. One thing I thought would have been cool for his deck, obviously BLS is a pretty good card. Effect Bailers definitely could have been here. He definitely has enough darks. I was thinking to perhaps play Dark Arm Dragon. I mean, this card over here, Dolahan, is also dark, and that's a card that you make, I would say, quite often. You don't actually go for all your cards that often, because with Effective Jiangshi, you basically want to use abuse Jiangshi to the point where he dies. I usually don't like to XYZ with him unless, I know for whatever reason that he's going to, die and not get his effect. Maybe they have a big eye out, and at that point, yeah, you probably don't want to, set another Jiangshi at that point. Although you can't normal summon any of the Ghostricks without controlling another Ghostrick monster, which is, I don't really know if that's actually a thing that actually hurt the deck a lot, but it doesn't seem like it'd be OP to go like normal summon Jiangshi, you know what I mean? It's just a little concept that the deck has. It likes to do the whole flip game mechanic, essentially, is what the deck relies on, and that's why a lot of the cards require you to have like face down monsters. But you know, I think Ghostrick Role Shift is an excellent card. I think that this card helps the deck out a lot, but really what it comes down to is, as far as the playstyle of this deck, is basically you get your summons off and your opponent never gets their summons. That's how the deck wants to play. And it's a really cool idea. I mean, at least Ghostricks, you know, we can say that they have top technically. But the thing is, I mean, really what it comes down to, even though it wasn't a YCS, not to take any credit away from the guy that actually built this deck, because I think it's a pretty good and unique deck. I like the deck idea of basically just abusing Duel Hand, because this card, it's pretty good. I mean, you know, during either player's turn, you could half a monster's attack. So that makes it so, you know, and essentially anything that's not 24, you're pretty much good to go, because, you know, this gains 200, so it's like 1200 minimum, unless there's skill drain. At that point you can't activate its effect anyways. But that makes it so you're able to usually get over one monster unless it's, you know, 24 or over, and then that makes it so when your opponent goes for their play to try to get over this, like I said, it plays the back row game, and then the card gets a bonus effect if they happen to get rid of it. And it's awesome. It just has to be sent to the graveyard. It doesn't have to be destroyed by battle or by card. It's just whenever this card is sent to the graveyard, bam, you get the effect. I'm curious to see if it actually works with Downward Magician, like if you detach, because it doesn't say if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, so I'm pretty sure you get its effect anyways. So it's basically abusing Downward Magician is what it comes down to. Those XYZ cards, like Gaia the Thunder Charge, where it's like, oh, you control a monster, just go ahead, XYZ more on top of XYZs. Like those cards, I really feel like they abuse the XYZ mechanic of the game, because number 61 Volcasaurus doesn't really have that downside when you can just be like, oh, it's cool, I'm going to throw up another card on top of it, right? But yeah, it's a pretty fun deck, but it's a very linear deck, so if you like a combo-licious deck, this deck doesn't really have too many plays. I mean, the most explosive play you can really do is like King Kabio, get back a card, and then be like, okay, go for this card, half the attack over something, then XYZ, and throw up a Downward Magician if you really want to after it. A lot of times I end up keeping this card on board, but it's a really linear deck, and it doesn't really have that many options. It pretty much has like a go-to play and basically stopping your opponent from going for stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, Dropbox link down below in the description box if you actually just want to click download. That way you don't have to search for all the cards individually. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day. And if you guys have any suggestions for another Ghostrick build, because I wanted to play the deck, but a lot of times the deck never really did anything, well, with just using their cards, because they wanted to use this card. Let's talk about this card. Isn't it Stein? This card, I thought that originally this deck was like an attack directly deck, kind of like a Watts, because you can use Ghostrick Stein, and like there's a field spell card where it makes it so like if all the monsters are like monsters cannot attack face down defense position monsters, but can attack directly. So I thought originally you would use like the Ghostrick Scare and stuff, and basically you would keep on attacking them directly. I thought that that was how the deck was going to be ran, but it really seems like the deck is really open to, you know, a small little engine that other decks can utilize. And I definitely want to make that Monarch Ghostrick deck, because I think that that will be something that will be fun to play around with, and we'll see how that deck actually does, and we'll see what other support Monarch has in the future for us. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Azneyes out.